Hello, family. My name is James Trice, and I'm the creator of a podcast called YANA, or You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is a podcast for Black men. It is more than just a podcast. It's a lifeline and a brotherhood. We're here to create a supportive, judgment-free space where Black men can have real, open conversations about what truly matters to us, from family and relationships to community, sports, culture, politics, faith, sex, race, education, and the challenges of everyday life. We dive deep into it all. Whether you're looking for advice, motivation, prayer, or just the comfort of knowing you're not walking this journey alone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone. Look for new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And look for me on Instagram at jbtrice123. Welcome to YANA. Grace and peace, everyone. This is James Trice again. Welcome to this episode of YANA. You Are Not Alone, a space for Black men to talk, to be heard, to be listened to talk about the issues that matter most to us. To realize that we don't walk this journey of life alone, because none of us are really meant to do life alone. So thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in to YANA. You Are Not Alone. You can see new episodes of YANA every Thursday on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in YANA, YANA, and my name, James Trice, and you'll begin to see episodes there. And you can also go to Apple and Spotify every Thursday, and you can listen to episodes of YANA on Apple and Spotify. So thank you again for joining us on this episode. Today we have a young man who's I've known. We've crossed paths. I see him every now and then, but just I think is an amazing young man. I've watched him grow to become a great man and do some of the great things he is doing right now. So I want to welcome Jamar Hester to the show. Thank you, Jamar, for joining us. And please introduce yourself, say a little bit about yourself, and then let's get right into the discussion. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. I appreciate the introduction, James. That means a lot. Jamar Hester, 38 years old. I'm a husband, a father, store director currently at a retailer in the Twin Cities. That's me, man. I'm balancing life and everything else, and was asked to get on here with you, and I'm excited to sit down and have a conversation with you, for sure.
Okay. Husband and father, how long you been married?
Been married, it's going on 19 years.
19?
Well, we've been together 19 years, going on 13 years being married, so 12 years. Currently.
Congratulations, Black man.
Thank you.
That is rare. Not many people can make it past the first argument.
Yeah.
But you all went through. So 19 years. And how many kids you have?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you. Talk about some of the work you do. Talk about what you're passionate about.
Family for me, man. I'm just trying to make sure I lead that example for my sons. You know, I grew up without a father, so I just want to be able to give them a pillar and someone they can look for guidance, and hopefully maneuver them through life, and they don't bump their heads as much as I did or go through the obstacles that I did, or at least let me make them easier for them. So I'm passionate about, being a father, raising my kids the right way. And being a husband, man. I think we lose that. I think we've lost that. Is that it's important, to find someone, a companion that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, and then do some compromising and do some understanding and do some listening, but do that commitment to be able to make sure that's what you want, and that's what I want, and that's what my wife wants, and I'm praying that the Lord lets me see 50, 60 years of that for me. So just trying to be that example, show my sons and my wife what, as a Black man, I can, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I take care of and lead a good example, and be an example for my brothers and my sisters and my coworkers and my people that I interact with, and hopefully have a positive experience when they interact with me. That's just kind of my goal. Um,
Wow.
so that when I leave here, I'm hoping that I leave an imprint on some people's lives for sure.
Wow, for sure. So talk about growing up without a father, right? So many of us as black men grew up without a father. My father was around, but he wasn't. Um, we didn't have a great relationship. Talk about how you be an example. How you be a father to your kids without having a frame of reference.
Well, it's
Meaning, you
different.
grew up without a father, right? You had no frame of reference. How do you father now? How do you father your kid, and you didn't have a frame of reference for how it's done?
Tough. It's tough, man. You make some mistakes, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't without any. So you make a ton of mistakes, and just trying to trying to go to those folks that you do see that were good fathers. Maybe it wasn't directly in your family, but maybe it's a friend or someone else's father, or just trying to balance being positive, thinking of what I would have wanted and what I would have wanted seen when I was a child, out of out of a father. I want to make sure I'm there every day. I want to make sure at every event I'm there. I want to make sure I'm listening, I'm hearing out, and being tough, because I understand for black men we got to make sure we equipped our children to be ready for this tough world that we live in. And yeah, love my mom to death, but there's things that my mom taught me that she couldn't teach me. Also, it's not her not being a man, so she can maneuver me through being black, but not being a father, not being a man, not learning. And I had some examples of an uncle that was a strong, but maybe went some wrong directions as well. So it's just trying to pick and grab from everybody, man. It's a balance in that. And I will say, as I got older, I got better. You young, you make some decisions, and I feel like I was equipped it with my daughter. She's 9 now, a lot better than I was with my son. So not making those same mistakes and learning from them. Because we're gonna make mistakes, but just learn from them. So
Right,
yeah,
right. What do you say to your son? I mean, he's growing up. Your son is what you said, 18
yeah.
right now. What do you say to your son because he evidently knows that you grew up without a father, for whatever reason that may be. What do you say to your son about being a man and he's grown up. He's 18. He'll be
Yeah.
an adult soon. He's an adult. She's voting age at least, right? What do you say to your son about how he should be as a man and how he should navigate this world as a black man?
Having some integrity, man. I think the biggest thing is having that integrity, being able to be a man of your word. You say something, you want to back that up, and then you got to do some listening. And I struggle with that part of my younger days of listening, but listening, being supportive, and being someone that
Mm-hmm.
your sisters and your brothers can see and say, okay, that's kind of what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Working on yourself. We're learning every day, so we
Mm-hmm.
don't know it all. So take those losses as an opportunity to figure out, okay, now that didn't work out, so let me try it this way. And then know that me and your mom are here. I want to be that crutch for you to be able to lean back on, so that when you do have those obstacles, I can kind of guide you. I don't want to control where you go, but I just want to be able to help you go down that right path. And if it's that wrong path, we can't force them to make those decisions. But hopefully, through the teaching and the mentoring, they see and leading by example. For me, the biggest thing is we can say as much as we want to say, but what does he see me get up and do every day? Does he
Right.
see me get up here, and does he see me be a man of my word? Does he see I treat my daughter and my mom and my wife and her sisters and everyone with respect, and be honorable? So just try to truly lead by example.
Yeah. What made you do something different than what happened with you when you were growing up without a father? What made you say I'm going? What made you say Jamar is going to do something differently, and I'm gonna show up differently, and I'm gonna be a different man than what my father was?
Um, Not having it, man, not having it. You yearn for that. I would be lying if I didn't say as a kid I didn't want someone to show up to my games that wasn't my mom, or didn't want that male perspective. I needed it. And didn't have it. So young, I knew if I was going to have a child, and then I don't know, maybe when I got about 17, 18, I knew that I did want to, younger age, I didn't know if I wanted to have a kid because it's a lot of
Mm,
pressure. But as I got older, I made that vow that I would be there at every moment. I have to be, because I didn't have that. So I want to, if I'm going to bring somebody in this world, I want to make sure they have that support for me, because they didn't ask to be here. So I'm going to bring
mm,
them in here. I'm going to give them that support, and then also wanting to be in a, not a broken home. We need both of us.
mm,
They need the perspective from their mother. They need the perspective from their father. They need it together. And so, yeah, I just knew at a young age that if I was going to be there, it would be no, unless I was dead, I wouldn't. I would be there at every moment, in every turn, because you need it. I just feel like if I had that, there would have been some obstacles or some things that I did that I probably would have handled a little bit better, been a little bit more responsible, been a little bit more reasonable, and with my decision making too.
wow. So, what do you think then is the most challenging part about being a black man is, and particularly a black man who grew up without a father, or didn't have a relationship with our father, and then given the conditions of society and the strains and stresses and all of the negative stereotypes about black men. What do you think is the most challenging part about being a black man?
I think the most challenging part is just walking in the rooms, man, and you got to battle those stereotypes. You don't the playing field, as we know, it's not easy, and so you walk in those rooms and you got to understand where you sit. And for me, that was big growing up, is understanding what I'm walking into, because I feel like if I understand it, then I'm gonna do my best to maneuver through it. So that's what I give to my kids is, this is what you're walking into. This is what the room looks like. This is what the demographics of this world looks like. And we're not going to use it as an excuse, but we're going to use it as the reality. This is what we have to do. So now we got to focus on how do we maneuver through it. And
Mm,
so I think that for black men, it's just walking in those rooms, and they see you as a threat. I'm not a threat, man. I'm just a man. I'm just trying to make it, and take care of my family. So just debunking a lot of those stereotypes and those um, groups that they put you in just because of the way you look.
right, right. So, what do you think is the most rewarding thing about being a black man?
Um, I think it is going in there and showing them actually what you are capable of. I thrive on that. For me, I want to be able to walk in a room and be someone that goes, okay, he's a good listener, he's a good leader, he's a good follower, he's a good
Hmm.
husband, he's a good man. For me, walking in those rooms and they have those pre-notions, and then when they get to having a conversation with me and sitting down and truly look into it's not
Hmm.
what it seems to be from what you've seen or what you've been taught.
Hmm.
And just being strong, man. I think we go through this life, and these times are tough, and the strength that we use to get through it is it's exceptional. It's exceptional, and so gravitate to that. It's okay to be strong. It's okay to, but it's also okay to have emotions, and be realistic, and be emotional. But
Hmm.
be controlled. So
Hmm.
that probably one of my biggest um things about going is debunking those stereotypes for me.
Hmm. And so, given all of that, debunking those stereotypes in this society and all of the negativity that we as black men face, what concerns you most about us as black men, and how do you see the future for a black man? So, what concerns you most, and how do you see the future for black men?
I think concerns me the most is the broken homes, man. I, we got to figure out that we need to be, if we're gonna take that responsibility and take that move towards having a child, then we need to be there. And I'm not saying there's not things set in place to make sure we're not there or alter us from being there, but we need to, if we're going to make that decision, we need to be able to be at home with our sons and our daughters. They need to see us and have a conversation with us every day. Um, so for me, those broken homes, and then teaching our kids and how to actually build wealth. I think,
Hmm.
you know, we all, the 9 to 5 is, we got to work a 9 to 5, but that is not going to get us towards the wealth. That it's being financial. How about I say financial literate? We got to be literate. We got to teach our kids what's the next step, how to save our money, how to make better decisions with financially. Do we need this or do we want this? So for me, those things are figuring out as men and women that we need to have a stable home for our children to grow up in, so we can guide them through this difficult world we live in, and then teaching them some things that we need, that if I learned some of the things I know now about just saving and wealth and investing and things like that. If I would have started out the gate at 17 and 18 with that, I would have purchased my home way sooner than I purchased it. I would have been more closer to financial freedom than I am now. So those are the things for me that I think we got to talk to our young men and young women, and give them some reason on why we should be making sure, if we're going to make that commitment to have a baby, we need to be with, plan on being with that woman or that man for the rest of your life. You know,
I hear that.
yeah.
Right. So how do you do that? What do you teach your kids about financial literacy, about planning for the future financially? You talked about that just now. So what do you do? What do you teach your kids?
Well,
What do you know? Right. What
well,
can you tell us as
yeah,
black men trying to do that?
just what are we spending on? We got to know what we're spending and know what we're bringing in. Breaking down the household income and what you're bringing in and what you're sending out. And then what's necessary and what's a need and what's a want. Um, and then being able to go out and, you know, I want to be able to have my sons and my daughter, you know, don't leave my home until you're ready to buy a home. There's no reason
Mm,
for you to go out and spend money on rent when you could be saving and having that down payment to get in your first home. And then don't, you're gonna have to take some leaps. Me and my wife are balancing um opening up her, a
mm,
business for us as far as her cake decorating goes, and it's just
mm,
you got to take some leaps and some bounds. There's going to be some challenges,
mm,
and being an
mm,
entrepreneur isn't easy. It's going to be the first maybe
mm,
5 years you might struggle a lot.
mm,
But figuring out what you want to do, figuring out, even
mm,
with my son's going to college, he's going to Dunwoody now. But do you want to go to college and spend 4 years in college, or do you want to go to a trade school and hit the ground running immediately, and get out of there and make 75 to 80 grand a year, and then be able to save your money and buy your home? And then after you buy that first home, what's the steps to buying that second home, and that property? So just hopefully, and I'm all learning right now. So while I'm teaching him, I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to show him the steps by me being behind the gun a little bit. I feel like I'm behind. Some people might say I'm ahead, but I would wish that I was a little bit further, but this is what I have right now. So just make the best of what I got right now.
So you are a homeowner, I'm assuming,
Yes.
based on what you're saying to me.
Yeah.
Um, um, I've never heard this term before. Don't leave my home until you're ready to buy a home. I've
Yeah.
never heard that before. Don't leave my home until you're ready to buy a home. Wow, that's something to do, because then they get adults and all of that, and then living in your home until they're ready to buy a home.
Yes.
Um,
It's
wow.
going to be a challenge for a parent. It's going to be a challenge
Yeah.
because they're adults, and you kind of had that control before they were 18, and then you kind of got to let that go. And yeah,
While they're living under
yeah,
your
what,
roof. It's
yeah,
like, hold on a second, right? Because
yeah,
I know, when, there's times when my daughter has come back to live with me, And we say, okay, save up your money uh, until you're able to, get to where you need to go, and give us a little something. So I had them give us a little something. What my wife and I do, we put that up for them. Is what we've done. Instead of spending it in the house, we just put it up for them. So when they were ready to leave, they said, "I'm ready to leave. I got this place. They haven't bought a home yet,
Yeah.
but I got a nice place, Dad." And so and then they were surprised when we said, "Here, uh, here's the money you gave us. So put that on, a rent and deposit or whatever else."
Yeah.
But it gets challenging when you have adults in the house because you say, okay, they're adults now, but you still don't want them coming in all hours of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Still got some responsibilities. You still gonna have to take care of some
You say, hold
things.
on a second, you can't just come in all that hours of the night and not let me know where you're at, right? Because you still
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a challenge. But I've never heard that term before. That's amazing that you have
Yeah,
that.
I'm hoping that, and I'm hoping they can, because get older, they want to leave the nest. I'm hoping that they can adhere to that request, man. It would be,
Hmm.
totally, it'll be beneficial in the long run for
Okay. Um, what are you unapologetic about?
them. I'm apologetic about. What's that at? I think that I kind of spoke on that earlier, but being a strong black man, being able to keep learning and evolving every day as I go. I don't know it all, but I'm hoping that I can every day learn a little bit more from you, from someone else, and hopefully set good examples. Being masculine, man, being an active listener, I'm not gonna be, I'm unapologetic about that. I I'm firm in my beliefs. That's not to say that we can have a conversation, but I do stand by my beliefs, and I just being strong, man. I think
Hmm.
for me, being that pillar for my family and my wife's family, that's someone that everyone can come to, and if they need some help, and that might not be financially, but that might be hearing them out, or some guidance, or some information, or a resource. I want to be able to be that. But you
Hmm.
can't be that without learning and listening. So you got to
Hmm.
do a lot of learning, got to do a lot of listening. I mean, got to do some
Hmm.
evolving, because we don't do everything right. So hopefully, learning from those mistakes so that you can help somebody else so they don't make those mistakes.
Okay. Talk about some of the work that you do. What work do you do? Talk about that work and how that work has impacted your life, and where do you see yourself, let's say, 10 years from now?
Now, you're talking 9 to 5 work, or we talking
You
more
tell me
work?
what you want to, whatever you want to share with me.
Okay.
Yes, whatever you want to
Okay.
share with the audience.
Okay. Well, especially for me and my job where I'm working as a store director, man, I just hopefully being able to set a good example as being a leader,
Mm,
and listening, and guiding people, and seeing some younger men and younger women that are in a position that maybe
mm,
um, they're looking for a little bit of help, or looking for someone to give them a little bit of help, or a little push forward. So being there, being that support, being available, um, and then maneuvering through. I think sometimes we get in a space where we think financially you got to be a superstar, or you got to be a rapper, or you got to be a football player, but there's other ways to make a good living. So showing that, and then giving opportunities and chances, man. I think we all deserve a second chance. I think we all deserve an opportunity, um, and then understanding that people need to be taken care of, because financially you got to pay your bills. And so for me in my role, I'm big on, and sometimes you get a little pushback from the folks that you work for, but I want to make sure they're taken care of. So that means if I got to pay
mm-hmm,
them a little bit more for them to stick around, I want to pay them a little bit more so they can stick around. Um,
mm-hmm,
and teach them about the 401ks, and teach them about the health insurance, and what they could be getting if they move forward, or if they choose it as a career, or if they don't, if they just want to use it as a position until they get
Mm-hmm.
out of college. There's some scholarships you could be signing up for. There's some training courses that we can send you through to make sure you can get a 2-year degree in this area. So then whatever you're doing in school, on top of that, that supports you into your next endeavor. And then just for me, the black men around me, my brothers and my uncles, just trying to show them that, guys, we can do it the right way. We don't have to go down that road. And it's easy to go down that road, and sometimes we make mistakes. But um, be that person that we can leave an example. Is that I went down the wrong road. I'm on the right path, and I'm just continuing
Mm-hmm.
to go down that right path, and hopefully set a good example for the people
Mm-hmm.
around me.
So what do you see yourself in 10 years? If you can future cast for a second, what do you see yourself 10 years from now? So 20, would it be 2035?
Yeah. So I'm hoping that, in a position where financially I'm able to show some folks we where we need to be, or where we could be going, where I started from, to where we should be. Um, Hopefully a good a good example and a good leader for I don't know if it's a group. I don't know. That's for me figuring out where and how we're sitting down right now, we're talking, just being able to speak and talk and have conversations with some more of us, in a bigger group. And I would love for it to be sitting in person. It's 20, 30 of us sitting down, and we just cross stories, and we shake hands, and we go out
That's
and have
beautiful.
dinner, and be a resource for each other, because I need you. You need me. We need each other. So doing this alone, it's not meant to happen like that, man.
Right.
It's meant for us to sit down and pull each other up. So I'm hoping I could be on a platform where, and I don't got to be running it. I just want to be a part of a part of
Mm,
just being a resource, and pulling some from your experiences, because you've seen things that I haven't seen. So I want to be able to grab some of those, and hopefully that'll get me to my goals quicker. Um, and then grabbing some of those young guys and young gals, and just saying, hey, this is what we got. Come sit down with us. Come chat with us, and we'll help you if it's finding a job, if it's finding a place, stable place for you to live, if it's um finding counseling for you to be able to maneuver through life and the trauma that you deal with, or if it's marriage counseling, or if it's any of that, just being somewhere where I could be a resource, and I can pull for some people, and some people can pull for me, so that can make an impact. I would love that.
all right. All right. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for that. We got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to ask you two final questions. Um, what is your greatest hope for moving forward for Black men? And then, actually, three questions. What is your greatest hope for us moving forward as Black men? What final words would you like to share with Black men and anybody else who's listening? Because again, even though my conversations are all with Black men, this podcast is open for anyone who wants to listen and hear and watch and hear what our conversation is. So, what final message would you like to share with Black men and others who are listening? And then, last question. These are three again. The last question is what quote or words, poem, song, individual has inspired you to be the man you are today?
Okay. Well, my greatest hope is that we just open our arms and our ears, man, to each other, and give us a space to be able to chat and talk with each other. It's okay that we don't agree, because we're not going to agree on everything. But if we can sit down and have a conversation, and have an intellectual conversation with each other, and chat, and be a resource, and pull me up, I'll pull you up. I promise you, the future's super bright for us, super bright. So my hope is just that we just listen and open up to each other, and it's okay to be emotional. It's okay
Mm-hmm.
to not know it all. It's okay to 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 care about somebody, man. It's all right that I care about you. That's okay. That's all right. As men, that's okay. And one of my quotes I've always liked since I was younger is take advantage of every opportunity. When there is none, make one for yourself. That's Marcus Garvey. Take advantage of the opportunities, but if there isn't an opportunity, make one for yourself. And so,
Wow.
I for me that's huge. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna try to figure it out. And if I get an opportunity, I'm gonna take advantage of it. If not, I might have to open this door myself. Um,
Mm.
and so sometimes we're prying it open. Sometimes we just pull it open. But as long as we're working towards getting it open.
Mm. So, is there something you want to leave us with as we close? Um, any words, anything you want to leave us with as we end our conversation today?
We can't do it alone. We cannot do it alone, man. We need each other, and it's okay to need each other. It's okay. I think we need to hear that because we're supposed to be strong, and strong doesn't mean that you do it by yourself. It just means that you can handle some of that stuff, but it's okay to need you or need someone else. So can't do it alone. Open our arms up, man, and accept some help, and give some help.
All right. Thank you so much, brother, for joining us. And I want to have you come back soon. I have some ideas I'm thinking about. You got me thinking, man. My mind is running now on some things that I want to do as this podcast grows, and I definitely want you to be a part of that. So thank you so much for taking the time out. Thank you for the privilege of your time and joining us on this podcast today. Thank you, brother Jamar. And I want to thank all of my audience listening here, all of those black men and women and others who are listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for joining Yana. You are not alone. And remember to go onto my YouTube page and like and subscribe. Go to YouTube, Yana, YANA, James Trice. Like, subscribe, share, follow, and then go to Spotify and Apple podcast. Again, new episodes uh, every Thursday on YouTube and Apple and Spotify. So thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, remember that we're never meant to do life alone. Grace and peace, everyone. Until next time. Yana is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard because none of us are meant to do life alone.